You know who we don't bully enough here on this channel? I don't think I've ever done a dedicated segment about the guy, despite his very high position. And I think it's the fact that outside of not being taken very seriously and being made fun of in the most silly and absurdist ways, he's kind of been outshadowed by Elon Musk, who's often been touted as the true vice president of the United States up until Musk and Trump's big breakup that happened recently. We're talking about none other, no, not RFK, we're talking about none other than jdvance, pictured here at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump. This is a real photo of them. I know it was a weird camera. It was a weird camera, so it had a kind of an odd effect on them, so that's why their heads look like that. But, in all seriousness, J.D. Vance is the Vice President of the United States, and he holds a lot of power. If Donald Trump dies, and he might, he's not very healthy, and he's old, then he becomes president by default. There could be a President J.D. Vance in our future, whether we like it or not. Trump's health deteriorating just means we're getting that sooner than later. And so, I think it's important that we start dunking on J.D. Vance more. I haven't done it enough here. The left at large certainly does it plenty. I mean, let me show you some examples. So, here's a good meme. A lot of people like to Photoshop J.D. Vance, but in very slight ways. Like, it's very important that you can still recognize him as J.D. Vance, but they will add things like long curly hair, neck beards. They'll make him like 30% fatter, so he kind of has this like baby face look to him, and then they'll lighten his eyebrows so he has no eyebrows and make his eyes kind of pop out and look really like, you know, insane and unsettling, to say the least. I mean, look at this image for too long and it feels like he'll steal your soul. Like you'll see him at the edge of your bed tonight when you're trying to fall asleep. You got this great one here. This is a great example. One of the first J.D. Vance edits. I shared my toys with you. And have you said thank you once? Yeah. I really do love the J.D. Vance memes. They're very good. This is a perfect example of how to bully somebody. For those that don't remember, people also made a big meme out of him fucking a couch cushion. Which may or may not have happened. At this point, it's become such a meme that I assume it did. You know, I don't know whether it did or didn't. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. The truth has been buried. We'll never know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't fuck that couch cushion. But regardless, let's do a little bit of dunking, a little bit of bullying of the vice president, J.D. Vance, because he could one day be the literal president. So I might as well get ahead of things, huh? You see, a couple days ago, it was J.D. Vance's birthday. That's right. It was his birthday, and he decided to go kayaking on his birthday, which, to be fair, I've done the same thing. I've gone kayaking on several birthdays in my life. And he chose a river in Ohio to do it on. And apparently, the Secret Service have a lot more control of the places that the president goes to than I thought. Because this headline kind of blew me away. And you'll understand more why when we get into the article. J.D. Vance went on a kayaking trip for his birthday. The Secret Service had the river level raised. Critics immediately blasted the action as a sign of the vice president's entitlement, particularly given the Trump administration's focus on slashing government spending. Or the idea of government affecting your life. Like, imagine you're there, like, doing something on the river that, you know, it'd be ideal for the water level to be low, and it just starts rising rapidly because you find out the vice president is kayaking on the river for his birthday. It's like, so much for the government staying out of my business, huh? Vice President J.D. Vance's security detail had an Ohio river's water level raised last weekend to accommodate a kayaking trip he and his family took to celebrate his 41st birthday. The U.S. Secret Service said it requested the increased water flow for the Little Miami River, first reported by The Guardian, to ensure motorized watercraft and emergency personnel could operate safely while protecting the Republican vice president, whose home is in Cincinnati. That's right. They literally had to raise the water level so they could have a bunch of Secret Service guys in boats on the river with him. But critics immediately blasted the action as a sign of the vice president's entitlement, particularly given the Trump administration's focus on slashing government spending. Richard W. Painter, who served as chief White House ethics lawyer under President George W. Bush, that's a Republican, by the way, said on X that it's outrageous for the Army Corps of Engineers to spend taxpayer money to increase water flow in a river so the vice president can go canoeing when budget cuts to the National Park Service have severely impacted family vacations for everyone else. Good point, by the way. Government intervention, losing government intervention made a bunch of people lose their summer vacations because there's no more park service now, pretty much. Meanwhile, our tax dollars are being spent on raising a river's water level so JD Vance can enjoy his summer vacation, his summer birthday party on the river. The Corps of Engineers declined to address any financial impact of raising the river. Spokesman Gene Pollock said the agency's Louisville district temporarily increased outflows from the Cedar Creek Lake in southwest Ohio. The page just loaded an ad and made me lose my point. Lose my space. Cedar Creek Lake in southwest Ohio into the Little Miami to, quote, support safe navigation of U.S. Secret Service personnel. He said the move met operational criteria and fell within normal practice. Quote, it was determined that the operations would not adversely affect downstream or upstream water levels, he said in a statement. Downstream stakeholders were notified in advance of the slight outflow increase, which occurred August 1st, 2025. Vance's birthday was on August 2nd. Vance spokesman Taylor Van Kirk said the vice president was unaware the river had been raised. Quote, the Secret Service often employs protective measures without the knowledge of the vice president or his staff, as was the case last weekend, she said via text. The sprawling 2,830 acres Cedar Creek Lake was an unlimited horsepower designation, has an unlimited horsepower designation and 5 launch ramps, according to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources website. A marina, campground, and lodge are also located on site. The department provided 2 natural resources officers to assist the Secret Service with the Vance event. Spokesperson Karina Chung said, the Vance family has already become accustomed to certain accommodations being made as they move around the world. During a recent trip to Italy, the Roman Colosseum was closed to the public so that his wife, Usha, and their children could take a tour, sparking anger among some tourists. The Taj Mahal also was closed to visitors during the Vance family's visit to India. Such special treatment isn't reserved for one political party. When Democratic Vice President Al Gore, then a presidential candidate, paddled down the Connecticut River for a photo opportunity in 1999, utility officials had opened a dam and released 4 billion gallons of water to raise the river's level. That request, too, came after a review of the area by the Secret Service, and Gore also experienced political pushback. As you can imagine, he would, because people would call him hypocritical for that, right? I honestly think that what Vance did here was nothing all that serious. But the fact that people are attacking him is a good thing. And I absolutely want to join in on it. Because let's be real, we might end up with a President Vance sooner than later. Donald Trump's veins are failing him. He's got cankles that would make a hippo faint. Like, the dude is not in good health. He's not been in good health through most of his life, and now it's the worst it's ever been. There's a good chance that Trump is a stiff in the next 2 or 3 years. And that's going to mean at least a few months of JD Vance in office. Which means we need to have our arguments against him down pat. Now, it might actually be fairly easy to dunk on JD Vance compared to your average conservative. Notably compared to Trump. I don't know if you know this, but the right kind of hates JD Vance too. For those that don't know, JD Vance's wife is not exactly what most conservatives would call the right color. Very pretty woman, but not white. And a lot of conservatives get mad about that kind of thing. A lot of the most radical conservatives, the types of people who are the strongest backers of MAGA, in fact, feel this way. In fact, I think I might have an example. Can I find the clip? Let's see. This is such a viral clip, but it's so... everyone references the video clip that I'm looking for, but no one it doesn't come up when you search for it. It might be in this video that, it might be this one. So for those that don't know, I probably won't be able to find it. Maybe I will be. Is this it? This might be it. I think this is it. For those that don't know, one of the loudest and most prominent voices as of late in the conservative sphere has been a comedian and professional Nazi by the name of Sam Hyde, who, if you want to know about the guy, there are numerous documentaries that break down this dude's history. He is like an internet legend in the same way as Keemstar, but far worse, in literally every way. Now, he was a pretty loud and proud Trump supporter, although most of his public brand has always been kind of a memeing, trolling kind of thing. He's definitely always had a conservative vibe. He's always, jabbed at and attacked the Democrats and made jokes to the benefit of MAGA, right? He put out a video that went really viral, like 1.5 million views here on YouTube viral. And it gets referenced a lot. And it was a call-out video on Elon and jdvance and a lot of Trump's administration. Because, for those that don't know, Sam Hyde is a full-on Nazi. Like, capital N Nazi. And what he's frustrated by is that he knows the Trump admin are friendly to Nazis. They are friendly to Nazi policy, like what he and his fan base hold, and he's frustrated that they're still playing pretend and trying to, and they're holding back. He perceives the Republicans as holding back right now when all of the far right policy is right there and available for them. And one of his whole segments was actually shitting on J.D. Vance for having an Indian wife. There's already been a significant amount of discontent over J.D. Vance because he's not seen as on board with the Nazi plan that they all seem to have, that they all seem to think Trump has. I think this is the clip that I'm thinking of. I might be wrong, though.
Believe it. People didn't suddenly have a flare-up of India hate. I've been monitoring the Indian hate websites for a while. It's actually set to my homepage. I've been checking these websites out. I watch what these people do. There were very few overt Indian haters spewing their nonsensical filth everywhere 72 hours ago. What happened? Okay, 72 hours ago, most people in the MAGA base looked at Vivek Ramaswamy with some notion of...
Oh yeah, I forgot. Vivek Ramaswamy as well being part of Trump's admin. They're pissed about that too. If you're brown, it's like Kristi Noem once said. Literally, she said this. If it's brown, it goes down. She's literally mad. They're literally mad that there is any non-white person in the Trump administration, because from their POV, it's like, what are you doing? We're in power now. Like, why are we pretending like it's not every non-white person? Because it is. It's every non-white person is on the chopping block. So why are we keeping, like, tokens in the forefront to try and make it look like we're not doing what we're doing? That seems to be the main focus of his frustration. And this guy's a Nazi, to be very clear. But yeah, this is just the Indian hate segment of the video. He's doing the Indian hate, obviously. This is not a progressive YouTuber.
admiration, or hey, that guy says cool stuff every once in a while. Hey, you know what? I think I like that guy. Now, he's got to be deported. Sucks, man. And he's not being deported because of the color of his skin. He's being deported for the content of his character. And I think that truly was a mask-off moment where we saw that Vivek Ramaswamy really is just a fucking nerd who needs to go back. I think that what you did is different. I think it's everybody spurgs out. I'm spurging out right now. I'm gonna spurg out later, okay?
This is one of the, like, considered one of the most prescient voices on the internet to most conservatives. Like, there are people online that legitimately worship this guy. They will fight you if you dare to criticize this guy. But yeah, like, you know, considering the fact that one of the most loved conservative voices among the right is out here criticizing. What the hell is he talking about? Something you got to realize about, like, Sam Hyde rants is they're barely, like, understandable. At some point here, he goes hard on jdvance for having an Indian wife, but I can't find where the clip is. But what I do find when I Google it is a bunch of references to people that people have made to jdvance seeing the video, but I can't find the original clip that everyone's referencing. Probably has been taken down because just a clip of Sam Hyde yelling about her being Indian and jdvance liking brown people, like just very loud, in-your-face racism, which is kind of Sam Hyde's brand many times. Other times he pretends like he's not like that. He's a troll. That's his whole thing. He's a troll, but if the trolling is just being racist and bigoted and then making you react and then being like, huh, why are you reacting, bro? Anyway, folks, I don't really have much else to say about this other than if the right doesn't like jdvance, and Trump's on a bit of a ticking clock right now, and Vance might end up being the next president, I think it's time that we start bullying the motherfucker harder than we ever have. The right doesn't like him. They see him as kind of a race traitor and not willing to go far enough to bring about the Nazi takeover, the absolute Nazi takeover that they voted these guys into power for. And so the most radical right-wingers already don't like Vance. Like, I'm not saying that we're going to win them over through their hatred of Vance, but I'm saying that if we add to the hatred of Vance that the right is already generating, it just looks like a wall of discontent with the Trump administration. And that's a good thing. People follow bandwagons. People are sheep. They follow the leader. If they think that there is a mass movement away from supporting Trump and his administration, they'll just follow the trend. And sometimes convincing 30% of the population is all you need to do to convince 70%, if that makes sense. Anyway, folks, if you guys enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way, then please consider leaving a like and a comment if you're watching this in the future, and leaving a like if you're watching it presently as I am live. If you guys didn't know, only 10% on average of my viewers like my new videos and streams, and way fewer, closer to like 1%, of my fans comment on my new videos and on my stream VODs and whatnot. Which means that we are currently looking at a abysmal engagement percentage, to say the least. I'm not trying to be mean, it's just true. It's objectively true. And YouTube pushes content based on engagement, so if we can up that percentage, I'd appreciate it. Be a liker, not a lurker. If you enjoy the content, hit that like button. Maybe even drop a comment if you want to be extra generous. It helps a ton and means a lot, and it's totally free. So thank you to everybody who does that. And of course, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications if you haven't already. And if you want to see more from me in the future, then follow my social medias linked down below in the description as well. Particularly my fan Discord, where my main fan base and hub of my community exists. I host gaming events, call-in streams, and watch parties, along with movie nights every week there on Fridays. So if you don't want to miss anything, make sure to join through the link down below. And hopefully, I'll see you there. It's going to be a great time in the next watch party. So I hope you guys show up I hope you guys join. It's going to be a good time. Follow my other social medias as well, and if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the roof over my head, lights on, and some food in my tummy here in the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting someone else a subscription on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merchandise, the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you all so much for watching, as always, and have a good one.